that okay?
Okay, and then I have to... This is an oral history project interview conducted for the Witness to War Serving a Nation project at Nauset Regional High School on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. For the sake of this interview, please state your full name and the community in which you now reside.
You did that.
Yeah, I gotta do it again though for the video.
I'm at the Terraces, 60 Daily Terrace, apartment 228.
Okay, so just, what were you like as a kid? Like, how would you describe yourself?
How would I describe myself?
Yes.
Old.
No, you're not talking loud enough.
Oh, okay. But, when you were in, like, middle or high school, what was, like, your favorite subject? Like, were you into sports or theater or anything like that?
Sports.
What kind of sports did you do?
Football, track.
Cool. Where were you from? Like, where did you grow up?
Philadelphia, Roxbury, Providence, Rhode Island, Syracuse, New York.
How did you come to Cape Cod? Like, what brought you here?
Vacation here in the summertime.
At what age did you decide to join the military? Or were you drafted?
What age? Well, I told you,
23, 41.
1943, early. You can figure that one out.
20.
Okay. Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I volunteered
Why?
because I want to learn how to fly.
What were some of the reactions you got? Like, was your family supportive? Were they afraid? Like, just stuff like that.
They were scared.
What were some of... Oh, sorry.
No, and they were very supportive.
What were some of your initial thoughts after joining?
That's a long time ago to get initial thoughts. It was a very well-organized program. And the program was I learned how to fly.
What branch did you enlist into?
Navy.
Where was the first place that you went? Like, where did you train?
Williams College.
Did you make any friends in the beginning?
Oh, sure.
Can you talk about some of
We
them?
were all friendly. Pardon me?
Can you talk about some of them, please? Just describe.
Well, they were mostly all one or first or second year college, and they were all volunteers. We went to maybe 6 training bases, basically all together.
Cool. Can you please, like, describe a day from, like, start to finish? Like, what was your daily routine like during training?
Up very early, make your bunk bed, run down to breakfast, and we had probably 3 or 4 hours a day of classroom work, and then we had, generally speaking, if it was a learn how to fly base, we'd have maybe 2 or 3 hours a day involved in either flying up there or sitting here and talking about it.
What were some of your least favorite and favorite things about the base? Like, was there anything that you just really enjoyed about it?
Was there anything, I'm sorry.
Sorry, was there anything that you really enjoyed about the base? What were some of, like, your favorite and least favorite things?
Well, I enjoyed flying. Number one, I learned how to play bridge, and I played an awful lot of bridge.
Was there any sort of special training? Like, what was the actual training like itself?
In the Navy, you had to learn how to handle each position in a plane. And I learned how to fly a big plane. We had a crew, an 11-man crew. So I had to learn navigation, radio communication, turret, everything on the plane.
Were you always passionate about flying, or did that come to you as you got older?
No, I was never passionate about it, except I was in a freshman year of college when December the 7th hit. And I first wanted to get in the Army Air Force, but then a bunch of my friends told me, you're better off sleeping in a bunk than on the muddy field. So I switched to the Navy before getting enlisted. And the Navy that I was in, the portion I was in, never suffered the attrition rates that Admiral Denfeld happened to have a staff that figured out how many naval pilots would be killed and how many submariners.
Okay, how long were you at the base until you were deployed?
Basically 3 months of base.
Where did you first go after you finished your training?
After I finished, pardon me?
Your training.
California.
Where in California? Anywhere special?
Coronado Island.
What role did you serve?
I was about to be shipped overseas into combat.
Can you once again describe your daily routine? Like, how had it changed since you were in training?
An awful lot of watch and wait and bridge.
How did you get to California? Like, did you fly or was there a train? Like, how did you get there?
Initially, I flew out with a group of others. And I think it was Tucson, Arizona. They took us off the planes we were using because the MacArthur was signing peace treaties, and they had duck that they were flying out to the Pacific, and the plane that was taking a plane load of dead duck had mechanical trouble, so they took our plane and gave us a little extra leave. So I flew back. I hitchhiked rides back to New England and then flew out to California. It's a long answer.
It's okay. Those are great. Did you write home often? Like, did you write to anyone special back home?
Oh boy, I probably wrote once every 2 weeks to my parents and wrote far more frequently to my girlfriend.
What did you write about? Just
what I was doing.
Yeah.
In answer to what they were doing.
Were you ever on an active battlefield?
No.
Did you ever go overseas at all?
No. I flew overseas, but I didn't land.
What was it like to be away from home for so long?
Well, it was an adventure. It was, to me anyway, it was interesting to learn how to fly and to play bridge. I don't mean to say we all play bridge all the time, but you always had to wait for something to happen. So you filled that time doing something as a hobby, and mine was bridge.
What did you miss most about being home?
Being in the service,
Yes.
Well, I didn't miss college. I was glad that I was called into the service.
Okay. What?
I missed being with my lady friend.
When did you get back? Like, how long did it take for you to get back?
Discharged right after the war was over. I was ready to fly out, and they said you can get out. So I, for convenience sake, I got out on the West Coast. I was one of the first in my area of service to get out. And then a buddy of mine and I, with all our luggage, and we had a lot of luggage, thumbed from LA to St. Louis. And in the process, we did rather well at thumbing. We stopped at the Grand Canyon and enjoyed a trip there. But really, I was discharged on the West Coast and came back on a Saturday and went back to college a week later.
What was the first thing you did when you got home? Like, did you go home first, or did you visit your girlfriend first? Like,
I can't remember, but my girlfriend lived 2 or 3 miles from where my folks lived and where I was living when I went to college.
how long? Oh no, sorry. How long were you in the military total? Like, how many years?
How long? What?
How long were you in the military?
2.5 years.
Do you still talk to any of your old friends that you made?
I'm sorry?
Do you still talk to any of your old friends that you made whilst in the military?
Did I talk to?
Do you talk to any of your old friends that you made?
No, they broke us all up into different areas. And I was trained first to fly to Paramashiro in Russia. And that didn't work out. I was a co-pilot at that point, and the pilot, who was a flight instructor, did a terrible job. He didn't check out. They wouldn't pass him. So I got into the Navy's version of the B-24, which you would remember.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trained for anti-sub patrol. We were going to fly very low and look for submerged submarines, and we had the facility to destroy them. So there you go.
Looking back on all of your time, what would you say was your favorite and least favorite memory? Like, what was the
My favorite
worst?
memories?
Yes, please.
Probably when I first went in, because it was a very serious change of pace for me to go from the college I was in to Williams College, which is Ivy League, in the woods, very nice. And the other was probably when I first soloed in a plane. That was exciting to get my feet back on the ground.
And then what would you say is probably your least favorite memory?
My favorite memory?
Your least favorite. Your least favorite.
I'm sorry.
Your worst.
Louder.
Sorry. Your least favorite memory.
Least favorite. Eating down the University of North Carolina Italian prisoners were our chefs, and we didn't know whether we should eat the food or not. So for 3 months, I survived on peanuts and fraps
Oh goodness.
with eggs and malt and all kinds of junk in the frap.
When you got home, what did you do? Like, when you went back to college, what were you going to college for?
To get myself educated to get a good job.
What was that job? What did you do? What was your occupation?
My occupation out of college was always in sales, and in the beginning it was to work for a Cincinnati manufacturer of high production laundry and dry cleaning equipment. And then I spent 33 years selling rather expensive packaging machinery, which was fun because we'd go to Anheuser-Busch, Procter & Gamble, Nabisco, all kinds of companies that produced a product that was in a package.
Were you ever married?
Yes.
When did that happen?
When?
Yes.
1950.
Was your wife the same girlfriend that you were talking about earlier?
No. Different one.
Did you ever have any kids?
5.
What were they like? Did any of them?
Like kids.
Did any of
They all
them?
got into trouble. My family, when I was growing up, moved a lot because my father was a good salesman. So they'd move him into areas where he'd break in other people, and then we'd move on to another area.
Was anyone else in your family ever in the military? Like any of your children, your father, your mother?
My father was in World War I over in France. He was there in Verdun when they had a long, drawn-out battle. My wife and I went over to Europe. It was probably at the turn of the century. No, wait a minute. It was in the 60s. And we ended up in Verdun and saw all of the battlefield in miniature and saw the mayor and celebrated belatedly years after I got out the American victory, or the Allied forces victory.
Do you know how long your father was in the military for?
Probably 2 years, 2 to 2.5 years.
Did anyone else in your family ever enlist? Like any of your children?
I'm sorry,
Did any of your children ever enlist?
no.
At what point did you come to Cape Cod?
Came to Cape Cod on our honeymoon. That's when we started. Went to Nantucket. And we landed 6 hours ahead of a hurricane. So we spent our honeymoon holed up in a facility without any bread, so we couldn't go out and have sandwiches or eat normally what we'd eat. We had to eat lobster and steamed clams and tough stuff like that.
So So when did you first move here?
Probably 35 years ago. We bought a summer home in Eastham. And then I retired in 1983. We had a home in East Orleans. When my wife died, I ultimately sold that home and had one built in Harwich to my specs. And then I've been here for 8 years, which is unusual. Most of us come here, get old and die. So I'm old, haven't died yet.
All right. Thank you.
Is that it?
I guess.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Sure.
Are you a native Cape Codder?
No.
I am.
She.
All right, where did you come from?
Western Mass. Westfield.
Westfield.
Yeah.
Westfield.
It's 9 miles west of Springfield.
Oh,
Out in the Berkshires.
yeah, I worked for a company in Springfield for a while.
Package machinery.
Yeah,
That's what I assumed. I've done a lot of work there too.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're out of business.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
The guy that put them out of business is a Wellfleet resident.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, he's been here almost as long as I have. Now, where do you live?
We
North Truro.
Yeah. We both
North
live in
Truro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you have my chance to know Hersey Gilbert? Hersey. He's
No.
a resident here from Provincetown.
Uh-huh.
He and his wife.
I recognize the name.
You do?
I've heard it before.
Is,
Now, you were where in high school?
I go to Nauset Regional High School.
What year?
Oh, sorry, I'm a freshman.
A freshman?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's behind the interview? What
Well-
course?
It's for my civics class, and it's because the Library of Congress used to do this, and it's a thing that there are 2 civics teachers, and the one that I happen not to have, he's just been doing it for so long, and it's like, so all the classes do it each year.
So, how many have you interviewed?
Oh, each kid or each partnership is only supposed to interview 1 veteran.
Oh.
I chose not to have a partner.
Well, there aren't many veterans around from World War II now.
no, there aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And this facility is great because this is skilled care. This has all of the services. I don't make a bed, I don't clean the place, I don't cook. And when I go to the next stage of living, I go to the other end of the building, which is skilled nursing care. So it's sort of there are a lot of these facilities around, and there are a bunch that are coming in for Alzheimer's patients. They're building something here in town.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a couple of facilities for autistic or mentally troubled people. Now, as a freshman, it's too early for you to figure out what you want to do in life, I bet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you did a very nice job.
Thank you.
And if you want, where did you park? Did you park?
No, we're way down the other end.
You're that end.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Oh, all right. Well, if it makes any sense to you, somewhere they had these brochures.
Mm-hmm.
If that would fit into whatever you're preparing.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to give you this. It's the only one I have.
Oh, I know.
If you want, they're downstairs
Yep.
in the entryway on this end of the building.
We probably will go out that way and walk around.
Yeah. just inside the main door, should be. And it might, I don't know, it might support, what are you gonna do, write something?
I just have to transcribe this. But,
When's all this due?
tomorrow.
Things haven't changed.
They have not changed.
Oh,
So,
boy.
just to end this video up, I'd like to thank you for your service and thank you for letting me interview you because it's been
Well,
awesome.
thanks. It's been a pleasure meeting you all.